Hi, welcome back to Ideas Box, and if this is your first time here, then thanks for dropping by. Today's video is a repair to my wife's sewing table lifter mechanism. It ended up being simple enough and made quicker by the fact that I had a gas strut which was close enough to do the job. Apparently it's a fairly common problem with these sewing tables, so if you've clicked on this video for that reason, I hope this one helps you out. Just a blood warning, I cut my finger when testing it, but I put a warning up on the screen just in case the sight of blood bothers you. Anywho, let's get into it. This mechanism isn't working. You're supposed to be able to pull this lever out. Sorry, push it in. It goes down. And it's not coming up. It should kind of spring up by itself. And also it's going to have the weight of the sewing machine on there. So I need to work out why that's not working. So I'll pull that out, take that to the workshop and have a look at it and see if we can work it out. Ordinarily it would have the weight of the sewing machine on it. But you've actually got to pull that up with your hand, and I don't think you should have to. That should lock into place there pretty well. It goes down a bit, which makes me think there's something not quite right with it. So I'm going to pull it out and have a look at that. There are 4 bolts, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 2 screws. So I'm going to take that out, take it to the workshop, see if I can work out what's wrong with it. Okay, so the good news is it's got a gas strut inside there. Maybe the gas strut's just got a bit weak. And I've got some gas struts, and I reckon it's not far off. It's a wee bit longer, but maybe I can get this one to work. I wonder if that unscrews. Oh dear. Might be in a bit of a pickle here. I need to get this bit here off and this bit here off. So let's see how we go with that. I'm not going to take that one out until I've worked out whether I can get this one to fit. Okay, I managed to get the ends off of this one. It looks to me like it's about, oh Jesus, 30 mil longer than the one that's in there. I'll show you what I mean. So there's the one that's in there. And this one looks to me like it's about, oh, it's not that much longer. Maybe 30 mil longer. But these gas struts don't have to go all the way to their full travel. So I'll start pulling this apart, and if this all goes pear-shaped and I end up losing an eye, then it's just the way it is, isn't it? Okay, so it looks like this one comes apart by taking that nut off of there, and then that nut there. I'll take that out and see what happens. I think I'll work on it that way up. So what's that, 13 mil or a shifter? Nah, do it properly, Jimmy. Right, that's a 13, which means that's an 8 mil thread, but that doesn't matter. So what's this one do? How am I going to get to that one? How does this work? Does that screw into that roller? How the f do I get? Let me have a look. What am I doing here? Okay, I'll be back in a second once I've worked out how to get this apart. Right, I wish I'd videoed that, because all I did was pull this down to pop it out from under here. All I did was pull this down, so that comes out of there. Then that comes out at an angle like that. And I can get to the spanner onto there. I just need to hold this still without marking it. Alright, I've cracked that nut there, which means I should be able to unscrew that. This gas strut that's in there is about, oh there we go, it's only about 20 mil shorter than the one I've got. That's 8mm thread, and that's the one I've got is 6mm thread, but I don't think that's, yeah, that's significantly weaker than the one I've got. Alright, well, might work. You know what? I reckon it will. I reckon this will work. I just need to get a 6mm nut and some washers for that one. Is it enough thread to get through there? Yeah, just. Alright. So I've got my homemade metric nut set. And I've got this tub of old washers, and the reason I like this one is because it's got all sorts of random shit in it. Like, that's actually quite a large washer for the size of the hole for standard. So if I use that, well, there we go, I've even got a washer with a bit of rubber on it, so maybe I can use that as a buffer, who knows. Anyway, let's see what I can do with this. So if that goes on there, no, it's going to need a 6mm washer on there to start with. Got my metric washers. So if I put a metric washer on there first, yeah, I reckon this isn't going to be. This is going to be a bit of a shit to get in this one. This is already longer, so I don't really want to. That's going to be a bit of a shit. Maybe I might just use a metric nut in that. I think I've got enough thread there to pick up a nylock nut. Pick up the locking mechanism on a nylock nut. I don't really want it to come off. I think that would be a disaster. Okay, so how the hell am I going to get a spanner in there to tighten that? I'm not going to be able to, am I? I need to wedge in there with a screwdriver to stop that nut from turning. Can I get that off of there? Because that would make it a bit easier. No, not really. That's right. It is what it is. So if I can wedge that, if I can wedge in there, here, I'll show you what I mean. If I can wedge in that space there with a screwdriver and stop the nut from turning, maybe I can turn the shaft enough to tighten it. Do you know what? I'm not overly thrilled with that. It's just picking up that locking mechanism, but I don't think it's going to work super well. No, look, it already wants to come loose. Right, so if I get that in there, right, so I've had to go against my original plan of not putting vice grips on this shaft because I do need to get that fairly tight. I'm going to pick a screwdriver in there for a start. Right, I've got that in there okay, so I just need to get that wire hooks back up on there. Which way around did it go? I reckon it came, oh shit, I didn't look. That's less than ideal, isn't it? Oh, there we go. Okay, it goes like that. And that goes like that. And then that goes, if I can get that under there. Jesus. All right then. Let me think. Why is that? Oh, that's shifted across. There we go. That's part of the problem. Right, just need to get this gas strut underneath this plate here, which might be hard because this is a fairly good gas strut, this one. So ouch. Right. So right, okay, so that's got to come across the middle. That doesn't feel quite right. Is that cable around that pulley all right? Yeah? Yeah, that's fine. I think that's how it works. Right, so if I put a washer on there and a 6mm nut, I think we might be in business. Oh, who'd have thunk it? Right, let's try it. Can you see that all right? Lock it. Oh, that's working a treat. Okay. It won't lock down. I need to move. Because the gas strut I've got has got 20mm less. Oh shit, what have I done there? I didn't even feel that. Hang on, I'll get back to you in a minute. Not as bad as it looks, it's just a chunk off my knuckle. So I'll go and get a band-aid and I'll be back in a minute. Okay, all better. What I need to do now though is work out how far short it is, whether the adjustment, you know, I'm wondering if I can get that to go, it can come up a fair way. I might need a socket for that though. What size do you reckon that is? 11. Hopefully that's far enough. Let's just try it. No, it's got to go about another. I'll take this off. So that needs to go. That can go right up to there. So why didn't that want to go any higher up? I wonder if that's enough. Hopefully, save me having to lengthen that slot. No, I'm going to have to lengthen that slot. That's a pain in the ass. What if I measure where it's got to... Oh, why won't that bolt come out? Oh, the gas strut. Oh, isn't that typical? Alright. Not sure what to do about that. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to drill another hole about there, and then slot that with a grinder. And actually I might use my Dremel tool. Either way, I'm going to lengthen that hole by I'm going to lengthen that hole by 25 millimeters. Yeah. So I'll just mark it across there, so I'll get a relatively straight line. That'll save me having to pull the gas strut out to get that bloody bolt out too. If I just go about there. Being very careful not to drill into the gas strut, because I reckon that would be a disaster. Right. Right, so I've got that to there now. So now I need to get that little bolt to sit there. Put that on there. Why doesn't that want to sit right? Oh, I see, okay. So it's got a little tang that runs in that slot there, so it can only go a certain height. It can only go to about there. It would have to be there somewhere. We'll just tighten that up, make sure that's straight. Did that latch in? Well, latch in properly, that's the thing. Don't want to lose a finger now, do we? Bit late in the day for that. Oh yeah, it's latched in properly. Okay. So there we go. All fixed. And only because I had a spare gas strut, which was off of the hatch for the rear hatch for a utility or a pickup, whatever you want to call it. Just want to straighten that a wee bit. See if it's straight. 109, 110. Hang on then. and a bit. Yep, that's pretty close. Just tighten that up. Right, I think that's it fixed. Beautiful. So you push that lever there in, pushes down. Yep. You unlatch it, it comes up. Beautiful. That's way better than it was. Oh, well, her indoors will be happy with that. Alright, go and put it back on and we'll do a video of it lifting the sewing machine up, and I think it's time for a beer. So we'll just get them on to start with. Do the nuts. I'll start these screws before I do those nuts up. Otherwise, if it locks it in place, I might not get the screws in. So just tighten these nuts, and it should be job done. Okay, thanks for watching. As you saw, it's a pretty easy fix. Easier if you have the right gas strut, but I'm a bit impatient and like to solve problems with what I have in my workshop. The gas strut I used was a 380 Newton, 440 millimeter long strut. For the record, the right one for this table would have been a 400 Newton, 420 millimeter long gas strut. Make sure to click like and subscribe, and don't forget that notification bell too. Well, I reckon that's it for today, so bye for now.